Alright, welcome to another part of my World Cup series. We're going to talk a bit about what's been going on in Group A in this video. We'll look forward to the final games in Group A that will be played tomorrow, Tuesday, and we'll look ahead to the second round, teams that may qualify for that second round. Now, beforehand, I had predicted that Mexico would win the group. South Africa would come in second. France would be disappointing, but they would manage the third place. And Uruguay would come in fourth. I expected Uruguay and France to draw, which was true. I expected Uruguay to lose against South Africa because I thought South Africa, with the home advantage, would be able to bring their game to another level. And with the passion and the excitement of the crowd behind them, I thought that maybe they could overachieve, much like they did do in their first game. I expected them to do so. I expected them to win it narrowly, but of course that didn't happen. Uruguay was the better team. They won 3-0, and South Africa never really got into the game. So now we're looking at a different scenario where Uruguay is leading the group on goal difference. They're on 4 points. Mexico has the same amount of points, but they've scored 1 goal less, which is significant because that means because Mexico and Uruguay are playing the last game against each other. If it's a draw, Uruguay remain group winners, which is very important because the number one team avoids the number one team in Group A avoids the number one team in Group B, which is going to be Argentina, and they will most likely have to play instead of Argentina, probably South Korea, but possibly even Nigeria. So, and even Greece still have a small chance. That's a huge amount of difference, of course. I mean, South Korea is a decent team, but, if Uruguay wins the group and they're playing South Korea, it's not impossible, or even Nigeria or Greece for that matter, it's not impossible that Uruguay actually reaches the quarterfinals of the World Cup. That's not impossible, which would be a great achievement for them, of course. But Mexico, as I said, if they draw against Uruguay, they're coming in second, which means they're playing Argentina in the next round. Now, of course, 2006, Mexico also played Argentina. It was a great game. Argentina won it 3-2, I believe, yeah. And it was one of the best games of the World Cup. Mexico really played very well and almost beat Argentina. Now, that could happen again. It should be a good game, at least. But, Mexico, if you want to avoid meeting the strong Argentinians, they're going to have to win. So, but then again, if Uruguay or Mexico lose their final game, there still is a small chance that either France or South Africa snatches the second place. But they're going to have to do it on goal difference, and it's very unlikely. One of those teams, France or South Africa, would have to have a big win, something like 3-4-0. Only then would they have a chance, because Uruguay has a goal difference of +3, and South Africa has a goal difference of -3. They have to make up for that difference. It's unlikely, but it could happen. But if they draw, then they're both through. But I would say that both, especially Mexico, is going to need to win. So, I hope that they're going to play to win. I think that if Mexico wins that final game, of course they win the group, but I think Uruguay will probably remain second. Because I don't expect either France or South Africa to score 4 or 5 goals. And they're going to need to do that if they want to beat Uruguay in goal difference. Because if Uruguay lose and France or South Africa win, they have the same amount of points. So it's going to come down to goal difference. So, looking at it, Uruguay, they just defended against France. and it was enough to frustrate France and to get a point. Then again, South Africa did not play very well at all. Uruguay played well, but not brilliant. South Africa had a poor performance, so it's difficult to really assess how good Uruguay has been playing. If I compare Mexico's games against France, Mexico was the better team against France. You couldn't say that of Uruguay. And Mexico was also in the first half really outplayed South Africa. So I still think Mexico potentially have the better team. But I wouldn't rule out that the final game between Uruguay and Mexico would be a draw, and in which case Uruguay wins the group. But looking at the potential of the team, I would say Mexico wins the final game. Something like 1-0, maybe 2-1. They win the group. Uruguay still managed to come in second, because I think the final game